Let me first take you through the methodology that's been employed by C-Voter pollsters to put together this opinion poll. And it's important for you to understand that this is a combination of a snap poll conducted over a telephone and an opinion poll which takes into account tracking data over the last 4 weeks. Let me just try and explain that in a bit more detail. Here is the methodology. 1,500 randomly selected respondents in Telangana, Rayalaseema and coastal Andhra Pradesh. This set of polling in these 1,500 respondents was done on the 18th and the 19th of February to understand the impact of creating Telangana when it was known to these respondents that there would and could be a separate state of Telangana very soon. Tracking data of 4,297 respondents across Andhra Pradesh during the last 8 weeks has also been kept into account. This is from the C-Voter tracking data. That poll is done every week to track how the moods are changing. Because remember, at 10 p.m. tonight, we will also be putting out the national projections based on the national tracking data. The total sample size for this opinion poll is 5,797. The data has been weighted to known population profile. There is a margin of error of 3% as far as the whole state is concerned and 5% for the regions of Andhra Pradesh. Let's get started and put up the first graphic on the screen. And this graphic looks at which party represents United Andhra Pradesh. Samakhya Andhra Pradesh, that's the movement that Jagan Reddy has been leading from the forefront. We've also seen the TDP claim that they want a united Andhra Pradesh. They keep changing their position, but they've been saying that too. Let's take you through what the people, and now in this series of graphics that you will see Simandra coming up separately, Telangana. That's the way this poll has been done as well. Only 12% of the respondents in Simandra think Congress represents the movement for a united Andhra Pradesh. 26% in Telangana, naturally low because the Congress has been seen to be driving the creation of a separate state of Telangana. The BJP also not seen as a strong votary of the Samakhya Andhra movement, only 2% in Simandra, 1% in Telangana. The TDP, which has had shifting positions. First they said they want a united Andhra Pradesh, then they said they want a special package for Simandra. The shifting positions of Chandrababu Naidu seem to have impacted the perception of people both in Simandra and Telangana, because only 28% in Simandra and 21% in Telangana think that Chandrababu Naidu represents the demand for a united Andhra. Here is the man of the moment as far as this question is concerned. 44% of the people in Simandra, which is the ysrcongress stronghold, feel it is Jagan Reddy who represents the demand for a Samakhya Andhra. In Telangana, it's 24%, but that's the crucial figure for you to keep an eye on. As far as the TRS is concerned, because they've been pushing so hard for a separate state of Andhra Pradesh, obviously nobody thinks of them as being votaries for a united Andhra because they're pushing for a separate Telangana. That's only 1 and 4%. Let's come to the next graphic that we're running, because this is, and we put this together in this fashion so you can understand what the highlight is that shows really that people believe that Jagan is the key votary. Now let's come to the next question. Which party is credited or blamed for the creation of Telangana? And this is, to my mind, one of the most fascinating set of numbers that we are putting out. Take a look and understand these figures well. 67% of the respondents in Simandra believe it is the Congress which is to be credited or blamed for the creation of a separate state of Telangana. So obviously they think the Congress is to blame for creating Telangana, whereas in Telangana only 22% of the people feel that the Congress is to be credited for the creation of a separate state of Telangana. A big paradox, a big irony for the Congress party. The BJP is obviously not getting, even though it's their support that helped the Congress push Telangana through, but they're not seen as the party responsible for creating Telangana because only 5% in Simandra and 5% in Telangana are crediting them. Let's now come to TDP. Again, they're not seen as the main movers. Simandra 5%, Telangana 2%. They're not being credited or blamed either for creating a Telangana. But what's going to come up on your screen is now the figures for Jagan Reddy's party. 10% in Simandra, 4% in Telangana. Again, not very big numbers there. Clearly, Jagan Reddy is not being credited. But now look at this figure. And this is again very interesting. The second crucial thing to look at, because 58% of the respondents in Telangana believe it is K. Chandrasekhar Rao's party, the TRS, which is responsible for creating a separate state of Telangana. Remember, the Congress's percentage was much lesser at only 22%. TRS, you've got the TRS with 58%, much higher than the Congress. Now take a look at this. 58% of people in Telangana credit the TRS for creating a separate state of Telangana, whereas 67% in Simandra blame the Congress for creating a separate state of Simandra. So the Congress is in trouble both in Simandra and in Telangana. Their gamble not working very well according to the sea water numbers that we are putting out today. Before I go across to all our experts, I also want to take you through the next question. What should be the status of Hyderabad? Should it be a union territory and joint capital, which is what people in Simandra were demanding? So naturally, 71% of the respondents in the Simandra region feel that Hyderabad should be a union territory and a joint capital. It's interesting to see that in Telangana, the figure is actually not very low. It is still 30% of the respondents who are okay with the idea of Hyderabad being a union territory and a joint capital. So it's not as if 90 or 10, 80 or 20, 30% is a fair number for this poll, who are open to the idea of having Hyderabad as a joint capital and not insisting that Hyderabad only be the capital of Telangana. Now, let's come to the next question. What should be the status of Hyderabad? The second option was, should they build a new capital for Simandra, with Hyderabad being the capital only of Telangana? Now look at the responses here. 49% in Telangana want that, 19% in Simandra want this. So obviously in Simandra, they want to keep on the association with Hyderabad in some way or the other. It's again interesting, and I'm putting out the don't know, can't say numbers over here, because 21% in Telangana don't know. So there's a lot of confusion, ambiguity, because there's been so much debate. They're not sure of what the way forward in Telangana is either. Take a look at these numbers in one snapshot for you to understand. 71% in Simandra want Hyderabad to be a union territory and joint capital, and 49% in Telangana say build a new capital for Simandra. Those are the two big headline items coming out of that story. Let's put out now the next graphic that we're looking at. Should Jagan Reddy merge with the Congress? And this is interesting because this graphic really reveals how people are not sure of Jagan Reddy's motives and his future designs. Do you think that Jagan Reddy could merge with the Congress? That's the question put by the pollsters. 54% in Telangana and 32% in Simandra say yes. Clearly, Jagan Reddy has a credibility issue because 54% of the respondents in Telangana feel he could merge with the Congress. In Simandra, he still has a certain higher level of credibility. 45% say no, he's unlikely to merge with the Congress. But in Simandra, and that is 32% say yes. That's also a very high number, mind you. But 54% in Telangana feel this man is up to political games, and after the elections or maybe before, he can at some point in time in the future still merge with the Congress. Let's take a look at the other question that we put out. And this has to do with whether the TRS will merge with the Congress or not. And this again is very interesting because the answers to this question show that a lot of people actually believe that the TRS also could not just have an alliance with the Congress, but could also actually go in for a merger with the Congress. Clearly the credibility of both these parties is not very high. Take a look at the figures that we've got. Can the TRS merge with the Congress? 46% in Telangana and 57% in Simandra say yes. Clearly, K. Chandrasekhar Rao also has a credibility issue in both those regions because people believe, despite his protestations, despite what I'm sure the spokesperson from the TRS will say very soon, they believe that at some point in time, in the near future, the TRS could merge with the Congress. This is the first set of graphics we're putting out tonight. We will, of course, be projecting for the entire state of Andhra Pradesh. We'll be projecting separately for Telangana. We'll be projecting separately for Simandra. But I want to welcome our guests for tonight, our lead cephalogist, Ashok Lahiri. He's been going through these numbers through and through. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. GVL Narasimha Rao comes from Andhra Pradesh. He wouldn't tell me before the show whether he comes from Telangana or Simandra. GVL, you must tell us. The decision has been taken. The BJP has played its card. Which part are you from?
I'm from Delhi.
What? You're a Telugu. You can't say you're from Delhi.
No. But
that the BJP stance has been ambivalent all the way through.
No,
and I think your position at the start of the show reflects the position.
No, my position is exactly that of the party.
Which is what?
Which is, I think we want justice for Simandra, but we are firmly in favor of creation
so where
of
are you from? Simandra or Telangana?
I'm from India. So
You
yeah,
can see the game that the BJP is playing. They want to milk Telangana for what it is worth, but they don't want to take any flack for what is happening in Simandra either. Javed Ansari was in Parliament all through the day, and he's been tracking the political developments. Just describe to our viewers, Javed, at the top of the show, the mood inside the Rajya Sabha when the Telangana bill finally went through.
Well, I've seen a lot of highs and lows, but you know, the way this Telangana bill has been debated, especially in the Lok Sabha and also in parts in the Rajya Sabha, it is absolutely something totally unusual by these standards as well. Rajya Sabha redeemed itself. They debated, they had a debate, and everybody had their say. But towards the end, when the Prime Minister was speaking, we had some very unsavory scenes, and it left a sour taste. But Trinamool Congress, of all people, I'm not even sure if more than 5 people in all of Andhra Pradesh know who Mamata Banerjee is. They were tearing up the bill.
But the irony is, we had Dinesh Trivedi and Derek O'Brien tell us when we were in Central all together, that what these people are doing is completely wrong, and their MPs go out and do exactly the same thing.
Yeah, because Mamata Banerjee was here till last night, and she gave them express orders that you have to...
She's worried it could happen with Darjeeling as well. Also, I want to welcome to the show one of India's foremost political commentators, Veer Sanghvi. Welcome, sir. Great to have you back. I want to go across first to Ashok Lahiri. And on the first 5 questions that we've put out, the big headline really is, Congress is being blamed in Simandra for creating a separate state of Telangana, but in Telangana it is not being credited for having created a separate state of Telangana. Can't get worse and more ironical from the Congress's perspective.
Absolutely. I mean, the figures that you have shown so far brings out one thing very clearly. Andhra Pradesh has been a solid asset for the Congress ever since it was created in 1953. This state is almost like a bridge between East and North India and South India. And the Indian National Congress has never got less than 33% of the popular votes in any Lok Sabha elections. But so far what you have shown, things are not going well. Remember, even in 1977, when Mrs. Gandhi lost every state, the Andhra gave Mrs. Gandhi's party 57% of the votes. And the party won 41 of the 42 seats. The first question is whether Congress will be reduced to a very minor party in what was former Andhra Pradesh, if not in Telangana, at least in Simandra. And what you bring out is very clear, that in Simandra at least 2/3 of the people believe it's the Congress which is responsible for the bifurcation. And when you come to the other questions, you will find that these will only reinforce the swing away from the Congress. So the major question that I find cephalogically coming out from this, that the largest swing that we have found away from the Congress is 14.5% between 1980 and 1984. Are we going to see a swing away from the Congress which is even bigger than that? I'll stop there.
Okay. I want to understand from GVL Narasimha Rao the pointers on the BJP. Because the BJP is neither being credited for the creation of a separate state of Telangana despite your support to the Congress both in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha with all the caveats built in, nor is it being blamed for the creation of a separate state. So the BJP continues to remain a fringe of marginal player despite all of what you're about to say in the next 1 minute.
So you've already concluded what I'm going to say
Because
next.
you're going to say what a great job the BJP is doing, how it's picking up a lot of vote share. The figures so far don't reflect that.
You see, Telangana today is on the threshold of becoming yet another state in the BJP's cap. I think, mark my words, because Chhattisgarh has been with the BJP for so many years. Uttarakhand BJP had been in power on and off. We have been in power in Jharkhand. Telangana is quite similar in terms culturally and in many other respects with the northern India, with the Hindi belt. So we certainly see, and today, you see, the credibility of the BJP in the state of Telangana has always been very high. But somehow we have not been able to translate that into electoral support. But with this happening, with the kind of wave that the BJP is, with the kind of wave that BJP has built, with the kind of popularity that BJP leadership enjoys, particularly Mr. Narendra Modi, I have seen some numbers. I think you will be putting them out sooner.
Don't go ahead of us.
So we will be able to, for the first time, translate the kind of mass support that the BJP enjoys into electoral support.
No,
And the
because-
big news for us, the
Yes.
big news from this poll is that despite the efforts of the Congress party, they have lost out Simandra for sure, and they are not going to make it in Telangana. So I think this is really the big news. The big news of your poll, which is music to my ears, is Congress's purely electoral calculations have prevailed in this case. But we have supported it because we've been conceptually, we've been
Okay, give everyone a
committed to the
chance.
cause. We've been committed to the cause.
This is
But
not a stump
Congress-
speech just
but
yet. Give
Congress-
everyone a chance.
But
I'm coming
Congress
back
is
to
not
you.
going to
Please,
get any
Sangvi.
electoral
But GVL
reward.
makes an important point.
Yeah.
The reason that the Congress pushed this through
Yeah.
in the day in the acrimony and the rancor was that they thought that they could at least salvage Telangana, if nothing else. The figures so far show they're being blamed for creating Telangana in Simandra, but not being credited in Telangana.
Well, they've got 26% or so into Telangana. They will probably do an alliance, I imagine, with TSR, and at some stage we'll get something over there. But we all working on the assumption the Congress started with a base in Andhra, destroyed it by pushing from Telangana. Let's not forget, the logic was the Congress would have been wiped out in Andhra anyway.
Absolutely.
Jagan had sort of wiped out the Congress. Telangana is a desperate move to try and get some seats out of all the seats they had earlier. Whatever they get is a bonus.
And
If
that
they get
desperation is not
anything at
helping.
all, because the numbers that you will see in a while from now may reflect that the Congress by itself is not very strong in Telangana either. But we'll just take it by and by. I also want to introduce our guests from outside our studio tonight. V. Hanumant Rao, representing the Congress party. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. You've been a big votary, a big supporter. We've got G. Vivek representing the TRS. We've got SP Reddy representing the YSR Congress. T.S. Sudhir, one of the sharpest minds on Andhra politics, joining us from Chennai tonight. P. Prabhakar, political analyst from Hyderabad. I want to go across to Sudhir first. What are you making, Sudhir, of the first set of numbers, and describe to our viewers also beyond just these numbers, since this is such a big day for Hyderabad, the mood in both parts. What are you picking up from all your correspondents on the ground, sir?
Well, celebrations definitely in most parts of Telangana. It is the result of a huge dream which has come true. Of course, gloom in most parts of Simandra. That's what we saw even after the Lok Sabha had passed the Telangana bill. There was gloom in most districts of Simandra region. They somehow expected that somehow this thing will be stalled by some force, as it were, but that was not to be. It has been in many senses a David versus Goliath kind of fight. The money bags or the politicians of Simandra always believed that Telangana will never become a reality. That has happened, and in many senses there is that kind of mood of pessimism and gloom as far as the Simandra region is concerned. Of course, since 2009 December, we have seen that the two regions haven't been able to live as good brothers. Now the only hope is that for this map of Andhra Pradesh, which has in many senses been held together by Band-Aid, people can actually stay together as good neighbors. So in many senses, today is a very momentous day. Telangana has actually become a reality, the result of a 14-year struggle by the Telangana Rashtra Samiti in particular. And in the last 4 years, we have seen that Andhra Pradesh has been known only for this acrimony and bitterness and hatred that has crept in between the two regions of Telangana and of course Rayalaseema and coastal Andhra.
Okay, Mr. Vivek from the TRS. It's interesting that despite the Congress party going out of its way, moving hell and heaven to try and push the Telangana bill through, the party doesn't really get credit for creating a separate state of Telangana. It's your party, the TRS, that's walking away with most of the credit for having built up the momentum that saw the creation of a separate state of Telangana, sir.
Actually, why this situation has arisen is, Mr. Chandrasekhar Rao, 12 years back, he thought Telangana people are being discriminated at. And if you see, that still happens, because many of the people from Simandra keep saying that, is the mic off?
Yes, yes, of course, of course. Please go on, sir. We can see you. We're also playing at this time.
Yeah, many
these
people
pictures
from
of
Simandra
celebration
are still
from
saying,
across various parts of Telangana. We're seeing these firecrackers go off as we see these images of the Telangana bill finally being pushed through in the Rajya Sabha. We can hear you well and you can go on, sir.
Yeah, actually, if you see, even today, many of the Simandra people are saying that the Telugu people are against the bifurcation. As I told earlier in another TV channel, Telangana was a state by itself before merging with Simandra, despite the first SRC recommendation. Having said that, so We have lost 60,000 jobs as per the presidential order. There are discriminations in allocation of water. There are discrimination in allocation of funds for Telangana. That's why this agitation picked up. And Mr. Chandrasekhar Rao was able to create a movement to highlight that Telangana needs to be addressed separately. That's how Rajshekhar Reddy wanted to become the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh.
Okay.
And he thought the best way to do it is to strike an alliance with TRS party. Chandrababu Naidu thought in 2009 that he will strike an alliance with TRS party and come back to power like what Rajshekhar Reddy did. Both failed. And then Kiran Kumar Reddy, if you see, he also was telling that I will abide by whatever the High Command says, but he went totally against the High Command, thereby belying the trust the High Command had in Mr. Kiran Kumar Reddy.
No, but there is also a credibility crisis before the TRS. Clearly, a lot of people, if you look at the question, I'm going to ask our producers to play it out right now. I can see it. Will the TRS merge with the Congress? 46% of the respondents in Telangana and 57% of the respondents in Seemandhra say yes. Your party, sir, faces a massive credibility crisis. People believe that now that Telangana has been created, you will merge with the Congress party, sir. That's the mood on the ground, regardless of what you will say now.
He himself came from Congress party.
His father was a senior Congress leader.
Yeah, I myself came from Congress, and I have to admit that because I was seeing that the Chief Minister, then Chief Minister, Mr. Kiran Kumar Reddy, was convincing the High Command, saying that this is not the true feeling of the people of Telangana, that they want Telangana. It's only a few leaders.
No, you're not answering my question, Dr. Vivek. If I get through to you, can I just request, time is scarce. I want you to answer my question. My question is that your party faces a credibility crisis. People, massive proportion of those people who've been polled in this sample believe that you will merge with the Congress now that Telangana has been created. Answer just this question, sir. Why is your party not credible?
No, my party is definitely credible. That's why, despite several pressures, the party has agitated for Telangana for the last 12 years. It's been a peaceful agitation. And on several occasions, Mr. Chandrasekhar Rao did mention that for him, achieving Telangana is the most important thing because it's the aspirations of the people of Telangana. So he has stuck on to that guns, and he's also mentioned several times that in case Telangana is given, definitely there will be options because Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, as we have seen in the last 15 days, had to move hell and earth to ensure that all political parties in parliament support this cause. And the bill was passed in both the houses despite the Seemandhra politicians going hell and earth. I
also want to go across to Hanumant Rao. Mr. Hanumant Rao, are you ecstatic, over the moon with the fact that Telangana has finally been created? Although the problem from your party's perspective seemed to be while you're being blamed in Seemandhra, you're not being credited in Telangana. How do you explain this paradox, sir?
You see that from the beginning, we are saying we are not against Rayalaseema Andhra people. Because parties, they are 3/4, we are 1/4. Last 60 years we are suffering like anything. Every time one package, 610, 6-point formula, everything. For namesake, after that, the Telangana people getting nothing. Only budget will allocated after the budget also. When the end of the year, that budget also going that side. Unemployment problem, irrigation, everywhere, because who are in majority, they will take over we are in minority. For that purpose, we are saying, sir, how long you can put down for Telangana people. So our request is the oldest ambition. In 1969, there is a big movement. In 72, separate Andhra movement. After that,
but this is all history now, Mr. Hanumant Rao. The reality today is, and I don't see any sense of elation or happiness in your intonation, there is a new state of Telangana that is being created. I'm also joined on this broadcast now by L. Rajgopal, known to most people in India as the pepper spray MP. Mr. Rajgopal, despite all your protestations, Telangana has become a reality. And interestingly, what you were telling me when we met in Parliament is actually coming true, that you're not being credited in Telangana while you're being blamed in Seemandhra. So does it mean it's pack up and curtains down for Mr. Rajgopal and everybody else from the Congress delegation in Seemandhra? You already said, I think, that you don't want to contest anymore.
See, I already announced long back that the moment state is divided, I quit politics. Accordingly, on 18th, the moment Lok Sabha passed it, I did submit my resignation. On 19th, it was accepted. And I also announced that I'm not going to be part of any political party. So I distanced myself from all political activities. And I also did say, having worked for unity of Andhra Pradesh as a state, now I'd like to work for the unity of Telugu people so that peace and harmony prevails. So I have a social objective, I'll work on that. So it doesn't matter whether I have politics or not. I did think that unity of Andhra Pradesh is good for all the regions at a national perspective and also in terms of the state also. But anyway,
Okay.
now is the past, it's the history, what happened is happened.
Okay, I want to go across and play out some more of the graphics, which are very, very interesting and very, very revealing, and then we'll get our panel to explain those numbers. Let me go across on the question of who is the best leader for your region, and the answers are very, very revealing. Let's just take them one at a time, starting first with the Congress and with Kiran Reddy, who was the chief minister for the party when Telangana was created. Now we're asking people here, who do you think is the best leader for your region? And you'll see now answers from both Seemandhra and from Telangana one by one. If you can have the graphics up on our screen, please. Just bear with us for a moment. They're just coming up, I'm sure. Okay, just give us a moment. I think our machine has hung, so if you bear with us for a moment, we'll put that out. And in the meanwhile, what I will do is, just while we try and put this together, you want to come in, sir, and make a point. Yes, Ms. Laivu.
See, Rahul, what it gives me is a feeling of deja vu.
In what way?
In the sense that when Andhra Pradesh was created in 1953, Hyderabad was not the capital. The capital was Kurnool. And when Hyderabad joined India, and at that time there was a demand for Vishal Andhra and Telangana. It's a very old debate. And in the 1960s and 1970s, it's very interesting that there were demands, there were rebellions. In fact, Dr. Chenna Reddy, he formed the Praja Rajyam party. And then Mrs. Gandhi
Telangana party.
Telangana party. Not Telangana, his name was, Chenna Reddy's party's name, I'll come back to me. And it was called Telangana Praja Samiti. It was called Telangana Praja Samiti. He formed the party. But Mrs. Gandhi was the prime minister at that time. And when he found that after splitting the Congress, some Congress legislators realized that Prime Minister Indira Gandhi is not in favor of this, quickly Dr. Chenna Reddy came back to the Congress. So this particular thing, the deja vu that I'm talking about, Telangana Praja Samiti, whether TRS will go the same way, of course, Dr. Chenna Reddy couldn't get Telangana and came back to the Congress. Whether K.R. Chandrasekhar Rao will come back to the Congress after having got Telangana is a very interesting question.
No, but will he do that?
It's unlikely, Ram.
That is interesting. I want to go across to SP Reddy from the YSR Congress. And the figures that we've seen so far is that Jagan Reddy in Seemandhra is being credited as being the true votary of a united Andhra, much more than any other party, any other leader. It seems on every question in Seemandhra especially, Jagan Reddy heads and shoulders above the others, but that same sort of popularity not being reflected in Telangana. So yours is a single region party. Unlike Jagan, who tell us, and when we interviewed him said, I will sweep Telangana and Seemandhra both. Yours is purely a regional party for the state of Seemandhra now, sir.
Yes, sir. We are the champions of the United Andhra Pradesh. Jagan Mohan Reddy is the champion for the United Andhra Pradesh. And we repeatedly told whoever joins for the United of Andhra Pradesh, we will support them. But neither Congress nor BJP. Congress and BJP put together, they divided the state. Today our state is divided very sadly. And all our efforts to keep the state united went waste. Actually, I tell you, sir, 75% of the population of Andhra Pradesh is for United Andhra Pradesh, including Telangana people.
No, that's
Many
what Jagan
Telangana
Reddy
people
has
want
been
United
saying.
Andhra Pradesh.
That question has been sorted.
Yes, sir.
That's what you'd like people to believe, but that question has been addressed. I think we need
I
to
have a
move
question
forward.
for Mr.
Talk
Reddy.
on behalf
Yes.
of Telangana people. This is
Mr.
the
Reddy,
problem.
Javed has a question for you, sir.
Mr. Reddy, Your leader, Mr. Jagan Mohan
Yes, sir.
Reddy, went out on a limb to woo. He even took the risk of saying that he's willing to support Mr. Modi, provided he supports the idea of United Andhra Pradesh. Now,
we did tell that one.
now the
Yes, we did tell that one.
One minute.
We did tell that one.
The BJP has lent its shoulder to the wheel and supported the creation of Telangana. So what happens? You've been left high and dry.
We will not support anybody. We will go alone together. Today, everybody betrayed us. They have divided the state. We are very much worried, and now we will go alone. We will not support anybody.
You're saying you won't support anybody, but very clearly, what is understood now, Veer Sanghvi, is that the party, no, one second, Jagan's party is essentially a Seemandhra party.
Right.
There is not a Telangana and Seemandhra, Pan-Andhra party. There will now be a party primarily in the region of Seemandhra.
Absolutely. I think he's going to be probably, if these figures hold, at least the ones we've seen in the beginning, I haven't seen the figures later, he's probably going to be the largest single party in Seemandhra. He's going to have a substantial chunk of MPs. If we have a situation where whoever's going to form the government needs MPs from outside, they're going to come to Jagan. He'd offered Modi a chance to say, I will join you now if you support United Andhra. He was spurned on that, so my guess he's up for grabs. I also find interesting, you've interviewed him, I haven't, that when he was attacking the Congress, his attack was not so much on the Congress, it was on the Gandhis. It was Italian National Congress, etc. He is trying to make a distinction between the Congress his father worked in and the decisions of Sonia Gandhi, which in the future, who knows what holds for the Congress, could be significant.
But in the future, do you see a Congress without the Gandhis?
I don't, but I'm not sure that Jagan shares my view.
No, because we asked him, is there any possibility of coming back to the Congress ever? And he said that the party that sent me to jail, if they'd sent you to jail, Rahul, would you have gone back and joined that party? So in that sense, Sudhir, Jagan Reddy is very clear that there is no question of going back. But do you think, what's your sense of being on the ground? Do you think there's a possibility that that could change later, Sudhir?
Well, given the manner in which Jagan Mohan Reddy during his Delhi visit attacked Sonia Gandhi, calling the Indian National Congress the Italian National Congress, shows that he has kind of decided that the Congress is not likely to come back to power, at least in the 2014 elections. He has decided that there is going to be no truck with the Congress, at least in the Seemandhra region, where the Congress is on a very weak wicket. Also, he realizes that the Telugu Desam and Chandrababu Naidu's going to the people saying that he's likely to go back to the Congress is not creating a very good effect with the people, as even the numbers show. So in that sense, it's a very deliberate strategy for the moment to distance himself and his party from the Congress. What happens tomorrow, we would know only depending on the numbers. Also, it's very important for Jagan Mohan Reddy to also tie up with the party which is in power at the center. Of course, at the moment, it looks very difficult because he had said that he will support the party which supports a united Andhra Pradesh cause. Given the fact that both the Congress and the BJP have actually supported the bifurcation of Andhra Pradesh, that would be a little difficult for Jagan to do. But post the numbers in May 2014, he could very well go along with the party which is in power in Delhi, which could very well be the NDA, given the fact that he's also
no, but there is a problem then
Narendra Modi praising him as a good
because the
administrator.
BJP needs to make a choice. You can either have the TDP or you can have the YSR Congress. You can't possibly have both.
We can have both. Let me tell you why.
Yes.
Because, I'll tell you why. Nobody wants
Congress
to touch the Congress party with a barge pole in
Jagan doesn't want to touch
one second.
Chandrababu Naidu will not want to touch Jagan. How will you resolve this?
Post-election, TRS,
Everybody wants a part of the
PDP,
pot.
everyone will want to be with the central government. Everyone, that's how you have SP, BSP coming to be a part of your UPA government. Because in the new states, both the states will have lot of needs. Both the states will need a center which has their ears. So
I don't agree.
Rahul, if these figures are correct, then in these elections, nobody wants to touch the BJP, either in Telangana or in
No,
Seemandhra.
Telangana, we're going to win. You just watch out.
We'll
You
put
just
out
watch
the vote
out.
share
Yes,
percentages.
2014. Because
You win Telangana.
No, not win. It will be a three-horse race. The Congress, TRS and BJP. It will be a three-horse race. Mark my words. I think there will be a fight. But what happens between TRS and Congress is in the realm of speculation. The momentum is with the TRS.
Yeah, I mean, everything is in the realm of speculation. Whether you get seats is also in the realm of speculation.
Fine,
what I
that's
will
why
do
it
is-
will be a three-horse. We are going to be in
One
contest
second.
seriously in Telangana.
Ashok Lahiri wants to make.
I think what GVL is saying are two different things. One is pre-poll alliance. The other is post-poll alliance. What he is saying, I do not have much difficulty in accepting that after the election results are out, you may find parties which fought each other against each other in the state, both supporting the coalition.
It's happened, AIDMK and DMK both
Correct.
supported Bajpayee
So,
at the same time.
but pre-poll alliance, I thought, Rahul, is what you're interested in right now. It's very unlikely, GVL, that you can run with the, hunt with the hounds and run with the hare at the same time.
Okay, what we'll do is we'll slip into a break. There are lots of very interesting threads that are being put out. We'll also look at the real vote share numbers that are being put out by this poll. Then we'll convert them into seats for both Seemandra and Telangana when we come back on the other side of a very quick break. You're watching the Political Stock Exchange on Battleground, Andhra Pradesh. You're watching the Political Stock Exchange. Let's dive straight into the numbers on who is the best leader for your region. And this is very interesting because we'll take it one by one. Let's take a look at the figures for Chandrababu Naidu. 28% in Seemandra and only 9% in Telangana think Chandrababu Naidu is the best leader for their region. Clearly his popularity more in Seemandra than in Telangana. Whereas for Jagan Reddy, a whopping 51% of the respondents believe he is the best leader for Seemandra. His popularity much lesser in Telangana, only at 10%. Whereas when it comes to K. Chandrasekhar Rao, 49% of the respondents think he is the best man to develop their region. Let's come to the next graphic that we are putting out tonight. This is about who has been the best chief minister of Andhra Pradesh in the recent past. 31% say it is Chandrababu Naidu in Seemandra, 24% say it's Chandrababu Naidu in Telangana, but this is the most crucial thing. Now remember, ysrcongress Reddy comes from Kadapa in Telangana, in Seemandra, but his popularity is actually more in Telangana. 60% feel in Telangana that he is the best man who's been Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh in the recent past. He has huge popularity in Seemandra as well. But what this shows is, if he'd been alive, there probably would never have been, we would not have seen what happened today. There would have been no Telangana because he was popular more in Telangana and he really killed the movement while he was around, didn't let it flower at all. K. Rosaiya, of course, a disaster both in Seemandra and in Telangana. Then there is Kiran Reddy, again with abysmally low popularity in both those parts. Let's now come to the next graphic, because this is what this shows, that YSR Reddy, popular both in Telangana and in Seemandra. Who's the best man to be Prime Minister? And this is, again, very interesting. I'm sure GVL Narasimha Rao is thrilled and jumping already because 50% in Seemandra and 50% in Telangana, that is equal to all the other respondents together, believe Modi is the best man to be India's Prime Minister. This in a state where the BJP is not particularly strong. Will this impact your voter preference? We'll come to that separately. Rahul Gandhi, 15% of the respondents in Seemandra, 18% in Telangana think he is the best man to be India's Prime Minister. Let's come to the next leader, which is Manmohan Singh. 4% in Seemandra, 4% in Telangana. He's not lighting up either of these two regions on fire. Then there is Sonia Gandhi, 3% in Seemandra, 6% in Telangana, 5% if we put it out to the closest whole number. Then you've got, and this is interesting, Kejriwal, not very substantial of course, 2% in Seemandra, 3% in Telangana think he's the best man to be PM, but that is more than Chandrababu Naidu. 1% in Seemandra, 1% in Telangana. But this is the big story here. 50% of the respondents, both in Seemandra and in Telangana, believe that Narendra Modi is the best man to be India's Prime Minister. And I'm not going to give GVL the first opportunity on that question because he'll be jumping up and around. But I want Ashok Lahiri to explain these figures to our viewers. This doesn't translate into vote share for the BJP, which we'll put out next. But Modi's popularity to be Prime Minister, what does this mean to you, sir?
See, BJP, as we discussed earlier, Mr. Modi seems to be above everyone else in terms of popularity as a Prime Minister's candidate. But Mr. Modi is not the candidate in every constituency. There is a face, there is a name, there is a candidate. So how it will translate? There is a positive correlation, but I don't think it's going to be a decisive factor. 50% for Mr. Modi doesn't mean 50% votes. But you can look at the negative side. As we discussed, for the Congress, Firstly, with 2/3 of the people of Simandra saying they're responsible for the bifurcation, for the liquidation of Vishal Andhra. And then Mr. Rahul Gandhi, acceptability as a candidate for Prime Minister, only 15 to 17%. And the Congress actually imploding. Kiran Reddy leaving with, as you said, pepper spray, Mr. Lagadapati leaving also, Rajgopal. Then you have Jagan Reddy. So the question is, I think BJP, we can get into details about it. BJP has never been a major force, but Congress, it seems, is going to have a major problem in Simandra.
No, but GVL, what do you make of Modi's high popularity? Before you answer, you must also acknowledge that this doesn't translate into vote share, because if it did, you would have been sweeping both Telangana and Simandra. You would have got all the 42 seats there.
Yeah, obviously not all the popularity translates into electoral support, but the reason for that is in areas like Simandra, the BJP did not have a strong organizational base. But in '98, I would like to jog your memory, BJP really rode the popularity of Atalji as the prime ministerial candidate, and we polled 18% votes on our own. But today, an interesting fact, an interesting development is the Congress party, which is the strongest entity in Simandra, is virtually wiped out. And their organization has crumbled. So I see a great opportunity, and then there are a lot of leaders of Congress party who have become orphans today. And they are quitting politics not because of what happened in Parliament, because they think Congress, they do it because they think Congress is an untouchable.
Yeah, that's a direct pot shot at Mr. Rajgopal. You must respond. The charge against you, Mr. Rajgopal, is that you're quitting because you know you can't win on a Congress ticket. This is not some inner conscience which is speaking out.
No, that's
you know that you
possibly,
can't win in Simandra, and therefore you are quitting, sir. How do you respond?
And one additional question. And is the BJP an option to you?
I announced this in 2009.
No, Rajgopal, is BJP an option to you?
In 2009, I did announce that I'm not taking up the issue of unity for my political cause or for my political popularity. Whenever the state is divided, I'll quit politics. This is the word I gave in 2009. And accordingly, I'm sticking to now. So all this, what all I didn't do it for political future. I really felt the unity of Andhra Pradesh, unity of Telugu people is good for not only the Andhra Pradesh people or Telugu people, for India also. Because I felt the division of Andhra Pradesh got far-reaching repercussions of various other states.
Actually,
I always am a first Indian, next Telugu person.
Dr. Vivek wants to counter what you're saying. One by one, Dr. Vivek.
Yeah, first of all, both Mr. Lagadapati Rajgopal and Mr. Kiran Reddy, both of them destroyed the Congress party in both the regions. Had they accepted the division which was part of the agenda of the Congress party, today Congress party would have been live and kicking in Simandra. Because they got a good package, they could have showcased the good package which they got, and Congress would have benefited in both the regions. But because of their opposition for Telangana, a lot of people like us who were wanting the Congress party to implement its agenda of Telangana, we were forced to move out, because these guys were giving all wrong information to the Delhi and trying to scuttle our agitation, where more than 1,500 people have sacrificed their lives.
Mr. Hanumantrao, I have a question for you. Javed Ansariya, what has the Congress gained?
I've actually broken the good bonding with both
My question is to Mr. Hanumantrao. Hanumantrao ji, what has the Congress party gained? Jagan Mohan Reddy has wiped you out of Andhra Pradesh. And you are second best to TRS in Telangana.
You see that Jagan Mohan Reddy is nothing to do in Telangana. Only his aspirations is Rayalaseema, Andhra. That also alone, today is the situation day by day. When he was in jail, there is a little bit popularity was there. After coming from jail, one by one is left him from his party also. I have seen many people who was very close associate, they are also coming from out. Why? Because of his attitude, is a dictatorship, and moreover, is a feeling. And the dictatorship people are coming out, and I don't think during this election most of the people they will come out, because his name, only in the name of his father, he is running his show. Everybody was, father is different, son is different.
Okay.
activity also, everybody knows how he was earned money, how he has looted, how many people's lands he has taken. Everybody knows. For only his father's sympathy, and he has spent a lot of money. People are going in the meeting for that purpose. Most of the people, one fellow is recently, that Ramakrishna Raju or something from West Godavari. He was very close associate, and he left from Jagan Party. He joined with BJP. Along with Krishna Reddy, he came to Delhi. He met Rajnath Singh. He is given as another Mariappa.
Okay. T.S. Sudhir, I want to understand from you, why is it that Jagan Reddy is restricted only to Seemandhra? We've seen with the figures for his father, who was more popular in Telangana than he was in Seemandhra. But the YSR Congress, despite what Jagan says in interviews that you and I have done, is essentially just a Seemandhra party. Sudhir.
Well, Y.S. Rajshekar Reddy, when he was alive, despite the alliance with the Telangana Rashtra Samiti in the 2004 elections, was a better political manager. During his years as Chief Minister between 2004 and 2009, he managed to essentially ensure that the Telangana agitation did not get out of hand. In contrast, Jagan Mohan Reddy, especially after the 30th July decision by the Congress Working Committee, decided that he needs to put his eggs in the Seemandhra basket because that's where his political fortunes essentially will lie. So in essence, Jagan probably was the first one of the blocks to ensure, to talk about the United Andhra Pradesh slogan, but actually in effect focusing on the 13 districts of the Seemandhra region. We saw as soon as he had taken that decision, most of his people in the Telangana unit of Andhra Pradesh actually vanished. So in a sense, he had been reduced to a zero in Telangana region, but while he becoming very popular in the Seemandhra region.
Okay.
So at the moment, as the figures show, Jagan Mohan Reddy's popularity pretty high in the Seemandhra region, but as far as Telangana is concerned, he would find it very difficult, though he has been maintaining that he would tour Telangana, he would canvass in Telangana. Essentially, he's hoping that in the regions like around Hyderabad, where there's a large settler population of people from the Seemandhra region, he could make some kind of an impact.
Okay, I need to head into a break. When we come back at the top of 10 p.m., we will get you the figures for the seat share and the vote share. The operative part of the India Today Group Sea Voter Battleground Andhra Pradesh opinion poll. You're watching the Political Stock Exchange, and we'll be projecting the Sea Voter seat share numbers for the Lok Sabha elections of 2014 when we come back on the other side of a very quick break. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching the Political Stock Exchange, and now let's focus on the operative part of the Battleground Andhra Pradesh India Today Group Sea Voter opinion poll. Now we're projecting the Sea Voter vote share percentages first with Seemandhra, and the big thing to look out for is that Jagan Reddy's party, YSR, expected to bag almost 48% of the vote share in Seemandhra. Giving it a tough fight is the Telugu Desam party of Chandrababu Naidu with 30% of the vote share, but clearly YSR Congress heads and shoulders ahead of all the other parties. The other big story there, the Congress down to 10%. Remember, this is the area where they picked up 20 seats last time, just 10% vote share percentages being projected for the Congress this time. That can't bode very well for the Congress at all. This is Seemandhra. Let's now take a look at the vote share percentages for Telangana. Here it is. The Congress again only at 10%. The BJP not doing particularly badly because they're the number 2 party in Telangana at 19% of the vote share. The TDP comes in with 15%. YSR Congress, as I said earlier, mostly seen only as a Seemandhra party with 5% of the vote share. But the big gainer, the big story in Telangana is that 42% of the voters who we polled in this poll say they will vote for K. Chandrasekhar Rao. 42%, which essentially means that he doesn't need an alliance or a merger with the Congress. He can win on his own steam. Things could change. Take a look at this. If the BJP and the TDP were to tie up, that would become 34% of the vote share. Just adding these up, electoral arithmetic is of course more complicated, but this could be 34, in which case the BJP and the TDP together on several seats could give the TRS a tough fight, forcing it to consider an alliance or a merger with the Congress. But as things stand, when this poll was conducted on the 18th, 19th of February, the TRS with 42% of the vote share. What does this mean when it comes to seat shares? We'll start with Seemandhra, and this is the Political Stock Exchange. Just bring the camera in a little closer so we can track this. As I said, in Seemandhra, Out of the 33 seats that the Congress got, they got 20 in Seemandhra. That, just look at how it's coming down. This is January 2013, the Mood of the Nation opinion poll done by Sea Voter. This is January 2014, from 5 to 4. And in just 1 month, in Seemandhra, the Congress's projected tally slated to crash from 4 to 1. All the way from 20 in 2009 down to 1 in February 2014. That's the Congress's story for you. The big gainer, the YSR Congress, which of course didn't exist in 2009. But look at how their seat share percentages are going up to 11 last year, 13 in January 2014. There's literally been a collapse for the Congress over the last few weeks. 18 being projected for the YSR Congress out of the seats of Seemandhra, which are 25. So the other story, of course, is the TDP, which picked up 5 seats last time, now expected to pick up 6. Let's now come to Telangana. Now this again is very interesting, because the Congress, which had 13 seats in this area, crashed to 5 last year, came down to 3 in January 2014, now coming down to 1 solitary seat in Telangana. This for a party that went out of its way to push Telangana through despite all odds, expected to crash from 13 to 1. The biggest gainer is the TRS, going up from 2 seats to 14. They've held their own, they've gathered momentum, and now undisputedly way ahead of the others. Then there's Asuddin Owaisi's AIMIM, which has held on to its seat share. They're picking up still the Hyderabad seat, so there's no impact over there. Telangana or no Telangana, he's holding on to his core vote bank. What about Modi in Telangana? We saw, and this is interesting, 50% of the respondents say that they thought Modi was the best man to be PM, but the seat share for the BJP by itself is only 1. They had none last time. This time they expected to pick up only 1. So that popularity of Modi not translating into seats. On this note, let me go back to my panel, starting with Ashok Lahiri, and get his sense of the vote share and seat share numbers for Seemandhra and Telangana, sir.
As is consistent with what we were discussing before, as I said, the maximum swing that you've seen for the Congress, away from the Congress, is 14.5% between 1980 and 84. Remember, in 2009, Congress got almost 39% of the votes. Now what it is showing, from 39, it's coming down to 10. It's absolutely dramatic. Such a large swing away. And Congress is getting decimated. Now let me finish with Congress in Telangana. In Telangana, the question how Congress will do in the 17 seats will depend on whether the Congress can manage to have an alliance with Telangana Rashtra Samiti, or TRS merges with the Congress.
But they don't need to. If you just look at their vote share, they have enough vote share, 42%, to be able to win by themselves. Why would they want to tie up with the Congress now that they see?
The reason is, together there will be some synergy. See, the numbers suggest that together the Congress and TRS can win 14 of the 17 seats. If the 5 separate...
the IIM, they could win all 17.
No, but we spoke to a very senior minister, Javed, and he said that, the TRS has led the cause, but their organization and their structure is essentially that of the Congress. That's what the Congress believes. Speak to a TRS leader, he doesn't have that opinion. And if you see these numbers, there's actually no reason for the TRS now to tie up with the Congress. They don't need to do it, they'll win on their own.
Speaking of ministers and leaders, I interviewed the TRS chief yesterday. And while he's non-committal as far as the merger is concerned, he's certainly talking in terms of an alliance. And he won't commit to the number of seats. He says, but in this election, there is no doubt that Congress was instrumental in the creation, and we will have an alliance.
Sangvi, what do you think? Or do you think he'll turn around and say, I don't need the Congress? Now I'm winning on my own.
No, he's in position to say that, judging by these figures. But he's got, 42? And the figure you should be looking at is the BJP plus TDP. If you look at that, that's about 34, 35%. Correct. So then his lead doesn't seem so impressive. If he's got the 10% Congress vote, he's unassailable. He'll sweep the state.
No, and
so electorally still makes sense.
Because it's also the financial clout that the Congress would add to that ticket if the TRS were together. As a small party,
so if you have that triple alliance, then
GVL, I don't know what you want to say, but the question that you need to answer is that 50% prime ministerial popularity of Modi gives you 1 seat in Telangana.
but 19% vote. And the Congress party, which is wanting to reap a big bonanza in Telangana, if they are getting 10% from 50, 60, 60% popularity of YSR and having won majority of the seats in the state last time, I think Congress should be crestfallen. I think they can't go to sleep today. The Congress leadership will get a nightmare.
Why is this
I hope they are
happening?
not watching. If they are
Mr.
watching,
Lahiri.
they'll not get a
No, I
sleep.
hope they are watching.
Then they
I
won't
never
get,
hope that they are not watching.
they won't
No,
get
but
their
Mr.
sleep.
Lahiri, why is this happening? Why is it that the party that went out of its way to create Telangana is getting just one seat in that area?
See, the creation of Telangana, some people will say, has been very political. So in 2000, when the BJP government created Uttarakhand, Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand, I believe Sonia Gandhi wrote a letter that also considered Telangana. But that time TDP was supporting NDA. So BJP didn't take the move. In 2004, though the common minimum program had Telangana, the issue was YSR Reddy was the chief minister and there was no problem. It's only after Jagan, according to some people, that what Congress found, that Simandhra is gone, what
No, it was, to
Jivel was
put the
saying.
record straight, it was a part of the manifesto in 2009 as well. It was a part of the CMP as well as the manifesto in 2004, and in 2009 it was a part of the Congress.
But then it's purely a political gamble. Had YSR...
But this gamble,
had-
T.S. Sudhir, is not paying off. Why is it that the party that went out of its way to create Telangana, over the last 48 hours, when it is known that they are being able to push it through, gets only one seat in Telangana, Sudhir?
Well, Rahul, the Congress faces a huge crisis of credibility in the Telangana region, even though they have actually been instrumental in actually pushing, or some people in Simandhra would say bulldozing the Telangana bill, especially in the Lok Sabha. They're not getting the credit for it basically because they have been seen as a party which has vacillated on this whole issue for a very long time. Between 2004 and 2009, when Y.S. Rajshekar Reddy was Chief Minister, he was known as one person who was not really interested in bifurcation of Andhra Pradesh. In fact, if you remember, in the 2009 Assembly and Lok Sabha election campaign, the moment Telangana region voted, the same day in Kurnool at an election meeting, he actually said that people will need a passport to go to Telangana if the state is bifurcated. So he had that very clear and firm stand. But coming to the Congress now, it's going to be a huge problem. Already we are seeing a lot of temples of Goddess Sonia Gandhi being created in the Telangana region. Congress leaders like V. Hanumanta Rao or Shankar Rao, who is an MLA from Secunderabad, would hope that this is probably the route that they need to take to go to the people, to publicize that they are the ones who actually created Telangana and not just the Telangana Rashtra Samiti. But seeing these numbers, TRS and K. Chandrasekhar Rao would definitely be very pleased. They will drive a very, very hard bargain because they realize that they do not really need the Congress to be successful and even form a government in the Telangana, in the new state of Telangana. So in that sense, the KCR would want perhaps only an alliance with the Congress so that it keeps the door open for him to do business.
And he
with the
doesn't want to
NDA
be another
should the NDA come to power in
Chiranjeevi.
2014.
He had this huge clout as an independent party and then merged with the Congress, lost his identity and got subsumed in the larger organization. But Dr. Vivek, now that these numbers are being put out which project a big chunk of the vote share and a majority of the seats for the TRS by itself, does that then mean that there is no real reason for you to tie up with the Congress in Telangana, sir?
I think one of the positive sides of this poll has been, it's clearly shown that people who have struggled and for Telangana and trying to achieve Telangana, they are getting the benefits.
If the Congress pushed this
one
through,
thing I
if
would
the
like to
Congress hadn't
little
done what they
dispute
did, there
about,
would be no Telangana. Why do you think you are picking up all the seat share and nothing is going to the Congress despite their best efforts to create this state?
Yeah, because some of the leaders of Congress party, when I was also in the Congress party, but I could see that there was a distinction even in the Congress party between who was fighting for Telangana, who were fighting against Telangana. So people definitely felt that many of the people were not supporting. Only the Congress MPs were fighting for Telangana. Rest of the people were not fighting. I think that is the credibility crisis which is showing in the
Is
results.
that why, Mr.
But I want
Anupam
to
Rao,
dispute
you
a
look
little
so
bit on the
depressed?
BJP vote
Mr.
share and the
Anupam Rao,
TDP vote share.
a new
The
state has
TDP
been
vote share
created.
will definitely come
You
down.
could potentially be one of the senior ministers, you're one of the senior most leaders from there. I see no happiness on your face at all. Is this because you know that despite what your party did in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, you're heading for a rout, sir? Now, don't force a smile. Tell me the reality, sir.
First of all, I want to give whatever Sudhir is saying. Sir, we are also gone to the people after Sonia Gandhi's CWC announcement. We have gone to 6 districts. We are not sitting in Hyderabad. And moreover, another point, Sudhir is saying a wrong thing. When 2000, we have started Telangana movement. 37 MLAs, we have put a signature, we have given to Sonia Gandhi. After that, we organized a meeting in every district. After that only, our KCR has come to the field. Up to that, he has not started a Telangana movement. After signature of 37 MLAs, putting for Telangana, giving Sonia Gandhi, after that only, KCR started.
You're saying Mr. Hanuman Rao has nothing to do with our numbers. This is not a political speech. This is a shown in opinion poll, Mr. Hanuman Rao, and the poll shows that you are not benefiting at all. Mr. Hanuman Rao, the poll shows that you are being routed. The poll shows that you are not benefiting.
Definitely, every village.
You can't outshout me and hope that by outshouting me you will get vote share and seat share. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that.
Because your analysis is different. We are also public life. Definitely, every voter, they will vote for Congress.
Okay, I want Veer Sangvi to come in. Why is it, Veer, that the people of Telangana are not giving the Congress any electoral dividend for having created this state?
Well, because, Rahul, I think the Congress has been quite double-faced on this issue. In 2004, when they went into an alliance with the TRS, they promised Chandrasekhar Rao that they would support Telangana. He joined the cabinet. He was a member of Manmohan Singh's cabinet. People forget this. On the assumption that he would get Telangana, YSR, who was then chief minister, insisted that this guy was useless, had to be thrown out. They put him on the side. Eventually, he walked out. Now they've had to come back to him. It was part of the common minimum program, as Javed reminded us. It's been part of their manifesto. Yet they never did a damn thing about creating Telangana till they realized that they were going to lose Andhra. The moment they realized that they were going to lose Andhra, that Jagan was going to sweep, then Telangana has been for them a backup strategy. People are not idiots. They realize that.
Sudhir, is there a possibility that the TRS will still want to merge with the Congress or ally with the Congress because K. Chandrasekhar Rao can say, hey, I don't need you. I'm winning on my own.
Well, it's quite possible that he would not want to merge with the Congress now, because especially if he sees those numbers, he doesn't really need the Congress to actually form the next government in the state of Telangana. But having said that, over the next 2 months, what I would expect is that the Congress will go on a huge publicity overdrive. Yeah. They would want to get the credit for it. As Hanumanta Rao was pointing out, they would want to go all out to ensure that the people of Telangana feel that it is a Congress and Sonia Gandhi who has actually delivered Telangana. The effort will be to ensure that the TRS is actually pushed to a corner. The TRS is marginalized in the Telangana region, though it will be extremely difficult to do so. But the Congress would want to derive maximum electoral mileage, because this is something on which they have virtually written their epitaph in the 13 districts of Simandra. So if these are the kind of results that the Congress is going to face in May 2014, they might as well have just kept Andhra Pradesh the way it was.
Yes.
On a lighter note, the people would have, they got their yesterday's biryani from Congress party. They'll see where the next day's biryani will come from. People are very rational. They find Congress party is finished nationally. Congress party has nothing to offer nationally. So they are going to be out of
veg biryani or non-veg biryani?
No, I'm saying they will simply not give them votes on a platter because they've given Telangana. People know they have always been double-faced. They've done this. They've done this.
Is the BJP going to serve India a veg platter or a non-veg platter?
This was a double-faced Congress party.
He wants to come up with an analogy, but doesn't want to take it further.
This was a double-faced Congress party. They've done this only purely for short-term political gains. People know you can't trust them. Tomorrow for gaining something in Simandra.
So are you going to serve like a vegetarian Gujarati biryani?
In Hyderabad?
In Hyderabad?
That would be
well, no wonder you're not picking up any
people know the future of the country is going to be in the hands of the BJP. Shri Narendra Modi will be the leader, Prime Minister. They certainly would look towards the party, look towards the government in Delhi, which has their interest. Because BJP has been a long-term champion of the Telangana cause. So it's not a short-term political gain that BJP has really
what I want to
for.
do now... Yeah. And you've been seeing this whole series. It's called So Sorry. We get fabulous feedback on that series, except from the netas on whom that animation is meant. So what we've done is got our animation team to actually do a take on these numbers, just to lighten things up a bit. So what we're going to do now is project the numbers of course are very serious, project the national figures based on the C-Voter weekly tracker. You've seen Battleground Andhra Pradesh, most of the numbers we've put out. Take a look at what the C-Voter pollsters are saying would happen if elections are held across India today, and GVL Narasimha Rao is already rubbing his hands in glee. Let's find out if he has reason to do so. Animators having some fun with those numbers, but let's just try and make some sense of them as well. So this is essentially what C-Voter is now projecting might happen if elections were to be held today. The Congress, along with its allies, from 259 seats of 2009, expected to crash to 102 seats. The NDA from 159 seats, there you can see Modi becoming happier with every passing month, now up to 226. That's the way things stand at this time. I want quick final comments from all our guests as we play out the big takeaways from the Battleground Andhra Pradesh poll, and we'll start first with Ashok Lahiri.
Rahul, 3 quick points. One, we have seen regionalization of politics. And the question is, in Simandhra particularly, if not in Telangana as well, are we going to see a Tamil Nadu kind of situation where you have regional parties which dominate, and the national parties can do well only if they have an alliance with one of the regional parties? And in Simandhra, what looks like is ysrcongress and TDP. They're the main players. Second is BJP. So the BJP has not been a major force in Andhra Pradesh. On average, except in 1998, it managed to secure only about 6% of the popular votes. The only exception, as GVL pointed out, was 1998, when it had a seat alliance with NTR TDP, led by Lakshmi Parvati, and they contested 38 seats. And they got 4 seats and 18.3% of the votes. So how the BJP will fare in the coming election will depend on what kind of seat adjustment they have. And that brings me to alliances. We have talked about TRS merging with the Congress, but last election, after the Andhra phase was over, TRS leader Mr. Chandrasekhar Rao did campaign for NDA. Similarly, now we are already talking about YSR, TDP, who will go with the BJP, what alliances Congress will have. It's important to remember that the politicians are very flexible.
Correct.
What they say today, tomorrow they may have very good reasons why they have to do exactly the opposite. So it will be very important to watch what kind of seat alliances these parties have and with whom.
GVL, 20 seconds, your final concluding takeaways.
I think today there is a huge opportunity for the BJP in the Simandhra region, where Congress has made a virtual exit. And the entire organizational structure of the Congress party is completely arfaired. And they are literally abusing the Congress party today. So if the BJP, which has also championed the cause of Simandhra, a lot of promises which Prime Minister made in the House today were entirely because of the BJP's demand for justice for Simandhra. So and the popularity that Mr. Modi enjoys in Simandhra, I think one big rally in Simandhra, you will see BJP sprouting all over Andhra Pradesh.
That's of course if rallies translate into votes. We don't know that at all.
No, there will be an organizational base that can get created.
Javed,
I see an opportunity. Great opportunity.
Organizational base sometime in the future. Right now it's a case of triumph of hope over reality. The Congress will be wiped out in Simandhra, but along with the TRS, I believe they will have an alliance, and along with the TRS, with Chandrasekhar Rao's party, they will form the next government in Telangana.
Veer-san.
3 quick bullet points. I agree with Javed. I think the Congress and the TRS will go into an alliance. I think they'll actually, with 52% of the vote, will sweep in Telangana. So Congress will do okay there. What the Simandhra results show us is what we have seen in Delhi, what we've seen everywhere. There may or may not be a Modi wave. I'm not sure there is. What there certainly is an anti-Congress wave. Everybody who's winning is winning from a wholesale transfer of the Congress vote to Arvind Kejriwal, to Jagan Mohan Reddy, places where there is the BJP, to Narendra Modi or to the BJP. And the third important point is that we're used to politics where leaders used to make a difference. If Indira Gandhi was highly rated, the Congress did well. If Rajiv Gandhi was very popular, the Congress did well. We are now into a new era where people may think, 50% of the people may think that Modi is the best prime minister of the country, but they won't necessarily vote for the BJP. In terms of Indian politics, it's an interesting and
So what
uncertain
we're
phase.
essentially seeing is Andhra Pradesh moving from a Congress bastion to becoming the next Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. And given the number of seats that Andhra Pradesh has, that's a very, very significant development. We're also seeing national parties beginning to play second fiddle to the regional parties. Now, whether this, like Maharashtra, will turn out to be a bipolar BJP Shiv Sena on the one side and Congress NCP on the other, or will it be a Bihar Uttar Pradesh type situation, we will find out. But that's it. We're out of time on our program tonight. I had a great time. I hope our viewers did too. We'll be back next Thursday with part 3 of the political stock exchange, another special election zone, also focusing on the battleground states. We're tracking more intensively than any other channel in India, the numbers and the mood on the ground. Thank you all very much for joining us. We're slipping into a break. News and updates continue when we come back on the other side.